Always first to report in, Michelle Mimi Watkins. Good morning. I appreciate you checking in. I always have you in mind when we putting these Monday motivations together. It's SPS, you guys, back in the building. Happy Monday here in East Lansing. A little overcast, a little rainy. Probably had a rainy weekend for most viewers. Yes, good morning to you too. Today's Monday motivation is about what do you have to give? What do you have to give? Lindsay, what can you be talking about? I've given so much. So much is going on right now. And completely our lives have been in a tailspin. Good morning, Angie. Thank you for being here. Our lives have been in a tailspin. You know, and as I look at how we continue to navigate through the COVID-19 experience, you know, there are other financial realities that are happening, whether it is dealing with issues we've already had or new issues that are coming. For example, I saw major institutions like Duke and others are no longer allowing their employees and their faculty to invest in their 401k just for some budget, you know, issues that they're trying to forecast for. I mean, things are happening all across. So as I talk about what you have to give, I do understand the financial realities of our world right now. You know, my love for sports and my work in sports is totally being impacted. Good morning. They're talking about, you know, the bankruptcies that can happen and how things are just going to be changing. They're going to continue to change. But I still say during that time, there's more for us to give, whether it's in your work, whether it's in your hobbies, whether it's financially, whether it's in your skills or whatever it may be. So I'm going to speak from my standpoint as SPS being a nonprofit. I don't really tout that a lot. I don't put that out there. I mean, in a perfect world, I would want to be able to get the financial support to be able to do my work and spread it to as many people as possible. But I also realize that in my desire to get to the top of my field and to reach my goals, just like the image we have right here with the person climbing, I can still help people along the way. I think it's important we keep that in mind. And I also want to share that as a reason that can be a benefit to those who are trying to move forward when you help people along the way. Because in life, there are going to always be valleys and peaks. There are going to always be valleys and peaks, and the valleys are the tough times. That's when we're trotting through. It's dark, it's desolate. Yeah, the Wu Pain in the building. Good morning, brother. Thank you. And the peaks are where we want to get to. Yes, that's right. We want to get to the mountaintop. We want to reach our goals. But again, we have to go through those valleys in order to get to the peaks. Leo Brown in the building. I'm glad you had a good trip to ATL, man. That was inspiring what you shared too, brother. But as we do that, we have to realize that with our hand out trying to get to where we want to go, man, we got to have some love. It's always been said about, you know, if you come with your hand out, you can provide more than a closed fist. And it's hard because as we're going through what we're going through and we're trying to get what we want to get, we're so laser focused. I'm not knocking that. But I'm also telling you along the way that if you can give a little bit, if you can have an open heart as you go. I know people say charity begins at home. That's fair. But my experience has been, I continue to live by the idea that if I can give some as I'm trying to get, things will be all the more better. Now, one thing I heard, man, this always changed my thinking. You got to chop the wood first. You got to put the work in first. Many of us are very confident with the work we do. I'm looking at my timeline. Wu Payne, Leo Brown, excellent entrepreneurs in their respective right and the work they're doing, whether it's in fashion and in sports. But the reality is that we know we got to put in that work first. We have to chop the wood before we can get the fire. Now, that's the goal. We want whatever our desire is, our goal to be this flaming ember of fires and just burning hot. But you know how that works. Just think about it. If you ever made a fire, it doesn't start like this. It starts from this basic principle right here. And that's hard work. Your forearm's going to be tight. Your hands might be bleeding. You're going to have blisters and all that. Am I talking to somebody out here about trying to get to your goal and trying to reach something, what you have to go through to get to this point? And that is a reality. Good morning, Erica. Glad you're checking in. And then we look at the calendar. This is a blank calendar right here. So we go and we write our notes down and we write our calendar ideas down saying, I want this then. This is when I want this to happen. Now, I won't argue. You can have a timeline on when you want to get something done and check the box on what work you do. But I guarantee you the timeline you have for the output, the thing to come back, for you to get a result, may not always be perfect in that regard. You can say, I want this to happen in a set amount of time, and you can do the work, but doesn't mean the universe is going to give you that thing back. And that can be very heartbreaking. Good morning, Sherry. Thank you for checking in. That can be very heartbreaking. That can really hurt when you put something out there. Kevin Swift in the building. And you put something out there and it doesn't come back the way you want, but you still have to put that work in. And then you got to put those prayers up. You got to really believe. You got to get down on your knees and really be into it. And I think what happens a lot of times that we start ourselves being committed to something that we're not totally all into. Because if you can't pray about it, if you can't talk about it, think about it day and night, it may not be that thing you're totally into, And I'm not questioning anyone's, faith or their religion or whatever it may be, but that goal you're working on needs to be a constant. It needs to be around you all the time and something you can speak to the universe about with the hope of getting the support for it. And again, you still got to put in the work, folks. You still got to put in the work. If you want a great body, you got to do the right things, eat the right things, work out like you need to. Just because you want it in your brain so bad, oh, I want this. And some of us get this idea of entitlement. Oh, I should have this. Look at all the things I've gone through. Success is a long journey. Michelle Mimi Watkins is telling the truth. We think that just because we want it and we got to have it, it has to be like that, But the reality is that we got to keep working towards it. We got to keep working towards it, keep putting in that work along the way. Shout out to Lance. Good to see you, man. Thanks a lot. I've always used you as an example of mindfulness and being able to sit down and think about the goal you have and be able to go through your mind with that. And I appreciate you checking in. Then the other thing is to know your value, know your worth. What are you really worth? Sometimes we put our worth out there just based on, arrogance. Oh man, I should get this. I should have this. But what have you really done to do that? What have you really done to be able to, Brother Lewis, what's going on, man? Thanks for checking in. What have you really done to be able to be the value that you put on yourself? And that's why it's important, I think, at the front end that you do some giving. You do some sharing of your talents and of your skills, to be able to know what your true value is and know what the market is going to say that your value is. Because you can have a value, but sometimes the market is going to say this is what your value is, at least till you move into that next level. And then you get to this point where you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, this is what I'm worth, and say it with a straight face and really believe it. Can you look in the mirror and say, this is what I'm worth? Not just because you said it, not because you want the things that come with the value, but because you know what you've done. You've put in that work, whether it's been the charity you've done by providing your services or just being able to be out there in the field and know what the worth is. That's what you have to keep in mind. And then the opportunity is going to come, folks. That's right. That opportunity is going to come where you're going to be able to separate yourself from others. You see the little fish jumping out of the bowl and going to the big bowl. That opportunity is going to present itself. And many times we're not ready for the opportunity because we have not put in the work. We have not had a track record, not for other people to appreciate, but for you to feel confident in what you're talking about, for you to be able to stand on your principles and say, this is why I'm quote unquote charging this. This is why this is my expectation. And when that opportunity comes, are you going to be ready? I really believe opportunities come every day. We're just not ready for them. That's right. Every day there's somebody who could benefit from what you provide. Every day, whether it's on your job or whatever it may be. But the question is, are you ready? And if you're ready, are you bold enough to step into it? Sometimes opportunity come when you take it. The opportunities there, you take it. Brother Davis, Grindhouse in the building, man. Good to see you too. So as I get ready to wrap up on this Monday Motivation, and we're here talking about what do you have to give and the importance of being able to give some before you get. And I know it's a difficult conversation in the most, dramatic time that we're all experiencing as a world with the coronavirus pandemic and what it's doing to our lives financially, mentally, and all that. But I'm here to tell you, if you're still willing to give, if you're still willing to share your services, still willing to put some love out into the world with what you have, the universe will respond to that. It has no choice to. It is a universal law. If you put something out, you'll get that back. If you want to see if that works, go ahead and be nasty to everybody. Be mean to everybody. Be mean to your neighbors, to your family and all that, and see what kind of response you get. And then what's the reverse? Sharing, giving, knowing your value, knowing your worth, but still being willing to help someone and go forward. And sometimes you can help people and they may not have the appreciation you would want them to have, but that's okay. You do that. Now, I'm not telling any and everyone to be here to take on a life of being destitute and not having anything. Brother Cooper, what's up, man? Terrence, thank you for checking in. And not have anything and just give away your services, give away everything and just let people trample, because people do take advantage. But I'm saying do something so you can say, hey, I've given back, so now I can ask for this. So on that note, what I'm going to be doing with SPS starting this week, Wednesday, I'm going to be providing a SPSEdge Sports Psychology Consulting class, and it's going to be geared towards from middle school to college age athletes, really talking about everything from how your season ended, which I've been learning these mental health moments, to what your goals are, and really focus on being able to make both team goals and individual goals that can help, give to get, that can help you both in your athletic life as well as your personal life. And the reality is we're going to touch on the mental health piece, especially for the class of 2020. It has been challenging. Everything has been stripped away. Everything you've been expecting to have has been gone, but here's a chance that we can work on that and do more. So with that, guys, good morning, Terry. I want to thank you guys for checking in to the SPS Monday Motivation. I'll be doing my mental health moment later on today and throughout the week, but also be on the lookout for the SPSEdge Sports Psychology Consulting piece that's going to take place Wednesday at 2 p.m. via Zoom. I'll put some links out, and this will be sponsored by SPS. It'll be free at this point for those who are signing up. I'm only looking for a party of the willing, those who are willing to expand themselves and work on getting some skills that can help them going forward whenever we get out of this coronavirus pandemic, and then we'll go at a later date. So I want to thank you guys for checking in with me. If you're just checking in now, I'll be ending this, but you can always go back and hear it. What do you have to give? And I think when we give, just like Mimi Watkins says, we'll be able to get in the way that we really expect. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for checking in. Peace. That's right, folks. Lindsey Huddleston with SBS back in the building on Southwest Side Detroit. How do you hit a free throw? How do you finish strong? That's important. So the other part of the spectrum is
always packed, always loud, always crazy. So it's a tough place to play in. You gotta go in there with a mind.
So I'll be in there tomorrow. That's really my motivation. Is I want to be like Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown shoots like